who we are. Winn Group comprises of a number of organisations, the main one being Winn Solicitors. We are personal injury and accident specialists, predominantly working in the road traffic accident field. A one-stop shop where we can provide to our clients alternative hire if their car is out of accident, repair, recovery and storage, personal injury, physiotherapy, etc. We work for individual clients, but we also work for a large number of institutional brokers who have a policy books of over 50,000, which gives us access to over 500,000 clients in any one year. We also have a medical company, which is on medical in the middle of the tree, which is a tier 1 accredited medical agency, which provides medical reports to other solicitors when their clients have been involved in accidents. And On Hire is the company with which we provide clients with alternative hire vehicles. All these companies, although obviously medical agency, solicitors firm, etc., we use Panintelligence across all of these companies to pull the MI together for the individual companies, but also then collectively for the Winn Group. If you move on, please, Holly. Yeah, a bit more about us. Just what I said then. We are based in Newcastle in the northeast, but our client base is all over the UK, and we deal with a high volume of cases. We have at any one time within Winn Solicitors over 20,000 active clients, and it's probably the same on medical. So deal with, as I say, over 500,000 clients throughout a year. As a result, as you can see, we need to track KPIs, a very important aspect all across the business. Yeah, if we move on to that, Holly, thank you. What we've been going into more over the last 10 years is telematics, because, as you know, the little black box in cars has become more prevalent in terms of, certainly for young drivers, and what your insurance cost is. The technology in telematics is ever changing in terms of how you're notified of that, and we are the first notification of loss providers for 24/7 for a large number of telematics box providers, which essentially, as soon as there's an alert from that box, it comes through to us, and we have to very quickly contact that policyholder to ascertain whether they've been involved in an accident or not, and we also have to provide up to the immediate and up-to-date MI back to those box providers, again, which we do through Panintelligence. Okay, thanks, Holly. Okay, on to the section 2. So why do we use it, and why do we use the dashboard? As Holly said in the introduction, we've used it extensively and built on it with great collaboration with Panintelligence for the last 4 to 5 years. When we have so much data, we need to utilize that data to drive the efficiencies within the firm, reach the next level, but also to make sure that we can enhance our customer experience from all the data we have. As you can imagine, with all those different areas and what we do, we amass a huge amount of data. Therefore, we need to put it in a simple way that we can utilize it effectively across the business and in a very secure manner as well. We use a case management system, Proclaim, which we've used for the whole time Winn's been in existence for over 10 years, which does an excellent job of running our cases on a day-to-day basis and holding all the relevant data. But in conjunction with Panintelligence, it allows us to pull the data out of that system and present it in dashboards which are meaningful to everyone across the board, and also provide that data, as it says in the slide, in real time. So more recently, Pi reports, and it's almost been the missing ingredient of a near perfect product so far in terms of enabling us to push that data around to different stakeholders in the business at a time we can control, durations we can control, and in a very easy format. This is to key stakeholders such as directors in the business, third-party clients across the legal and medical organisation, and also external investors who can, as I say, very easily understand and see what performance we're having. We can control the format of the data to third parties. The worst thing you want to do is send the data to one of your B2B clients and they know the information before you do. So we can control the format of the data, give them what they want on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, but doesn't result in any surprises. And as I said, and guess what? You know, we all think we're all here today. We're probably all very efficient in technology and spreadsheets, etc. But for some people, the older generation amongst our organisations who struggled with the MI platforms, which Panintelligence and others providing them with the reports in an easily understandable manner, which is contained in a Word document or in an email, it enables them to see the data, dissect the data, and look at it in a way they're comfortable with. As I say in there, one of the CEO within our organisation, everything's printed, single-sided colour, but he still gets those emails. He can do that, but he can easily understand the data as much as myself and other colleagues. So previous challenges, I think they're probably the same as everyone else. We were relying on one source of data, that being our case management system, which wasn't built as an MI platform. So this enables us to use the myriad of functionality within Panintelligence to deliver the data in a way which is comfortable for everybody. Whilst I said before, you know, we control what the format of the data is, different individuals like different views of data, which again, Panintelligence can offer in a different type of charts, which we can make sure we're delivering and tailoring the needs to who the actual audience is. Again, carrying on from what I said before about what is and what isn't for everyone. You know, I'm sure the majority of people on here today will love Excel, we love a pivot table and sums, etc. But that isn't for everybody. Some people just want to see the data visually and understand on a month-to-month basis what's occurring. And again, Panintelligence allows the data to be displayed in different formats, which can cater for the different individuals. The business is growing, which is good. The business has not grown so much in the last 6 months. As you can imagine, we're a road traffic based company, and as of 6 months ago, all of a sudden there was no traffic on the road. But we still had to produce the volume of reports across the board to see how performance was, both when good, bad and indifferent. And we needed a tool such as Panintelligence, which could actually deal with the reporting resources and the pressure we put on it. You know, we have a lot of reports that come out on Panintelligence, but we needed something that could deal with that. Again, I touched upon it before, but you know, existing Excel reports, it didn't allow the user to really delve down into that information. We often find as a business is that you've got the person who thinks they're the Excel guru who applies the pivots I mentioned before and slices, etc., and they come up with the data that they want to see. The person in the room next door is doing exactly the same, but applies a slightly different pivot, slightly different slices, and they've got the information that they want to see. With Panintelligence, we can be certain that everyone's looking at the same data to make sure we use it properly, and that in our case, as I say at the bottom, to ensure cases progress very quickly and don't stagnate, which can increase client dissatisfaction. Okay, yep, so reports are now instantly available. There's no movement of data or data extract is required. Following on from a point then about pivot tables or lookups, etc. It's in a very secure and stable environment, which we can share around the organization at the press of a button or, you know, by. So we have a lot of reports come out of Pi reports, which are scheduled to come out on a weekly, monthly, daily basis to give the user that single source of data in a very, very simple format. And that allows us, again, as I said before, to cater for different individuals from MD to FINAs across different departments. Within our organizations, most people have access to the dashboards. The management directors may have 15 to 20 different dashboards, whereas a FINA has 2 or 3 different dashboards, which is tailored to their individual caseload to allow them to come in and see exceptions and deal with their cases, and as I say, filter down to drill into any underlying data problems which they may be having. Okay, the next slide, please, Holly. Yeah, and continue on from that. So we've now got dashboards with real-time data, allows to see over 20,000 live files at any one time. Within our organisation, we have wall boards which display different data, so we can see it as you're walking down the corridors, using the nicer functionality within Panintelligence to show people's pictures against their names for the number of cases they've settled, etc. So it's there all the time around us. And a large feature is that we can push that data to our broker clients on a scheduled basis. You know, I would say over the last 2 years, our broker clients were more institutionally archaic, is probably the way to say it. But now they're catching up with technology, and they want the data 24/7. They want to know more. They want to be able to interpret it quickly. With the PI report, we can push that out to them first day of each month, very confident what we're giving them, and they can understand what we're showing them. So impact for Winn Solicitors, and I've put Winn Solicitors there, but you know, this applies to Winn Group. Panintelligence, fair to say, and PI reports has been our crutch over the last 6 months. Myself and heavily reliant on my colleague Mark Howell, who will be listening to this and probably glad he can't see my face, but we've had to very quickly produce PI reports on a daily basis to go to our external investors and directors, particularly when we weren't based in the same office. We are office based now, which the webcam would have shown, but we had to provide that real-time data. We had to show the significant drop. We had to carry out trends, etc. And it's fair to say, without the utilisation of PI dashboard and PI reports, etc., we couldn't have done what we needed to do. It's allowed us to see how we were, for example, pre-COVID, during lockdown, and post-COVID, in a style which all of us directors and external investors have been able to understand very easily. Okay, thanks. So this quote is from our CFO. Our CFO joined us at the back end of 2019, and obviously had a baptism of fire having to deal with the nuances around COVID. Marta was previously director at Hayes Travel, so well, she's quite lucky to get out of there, but she never dealt with Panintelligence before, and it's been great for her during lockdown to be able to understand the financial implications, the case volumes in what was for her a new business and a new industry. So it's a very pertinent quote there from our group CFO. So a couple of examples for you, and this is where I could go all day, but we'll keep it to a few. So here is an example of a report that is sent out, scheduled from Panintelligence to go out of an evening to specified individuals. And as you'll see there, you know, it's nothing, you know, forgive me, I haven't seen everything this morning, but you're not there, you're not seeing graphs, you're not seeing pie charts, you're just seeing facts that come out that are delivered to the directors each morning, so we can see our performance for this month, comparing it to previous months with variations, etc. Another example there is you've seen it in a graph format. So the first one is more just read and see. That comes at 11 o'clock at night, so it's bedtime reading. And here is an example of what I was showing before in terms of being able to see our trends, etc. And if I just draw your attention to the graph on the right, and whilst it may not be clearly visible, what we've done there is the trend line is showing our average for this financial year, but also our average against last financial year, because as a business, as you can see there, volume of traffic picked up again May, June, July, etc. So actually our average for the year was okay, but let's look at that against the previous year. Against the previous year, our averages are still low when we had no impact at all from COVID. So simply looking at that, then within 1 minute, you can see a trend, you can see a trend and you can report that and you can act upon it very clearly and succinctly. Well, I don't know who you want me to contact on there, but I left that blank, Holly, sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, Clint. That's fab. Has anybody got any questions? I'm just going to stop showing my screen and let's just see if there's any questions that have come in. Thanks, Clint. That was great.
No problem. I'm just sorry for the lack of webcam and my screen knowledge.
No problem at all. So one question is, when you realised that you needed Pi reports, how long did it take you to get set up with the main reports?
Not long at all. Very simple. Obviously, we have a great relationship with Panintelligence and Alex Porrimore and others. So the assistance provided was great, but not at all. As with everything behind in the back end of Panintelligence to set up the schedulers and the times you wanted, etc. We had them up within days. You have a guinea pig to send it to first, but once that's done, fine. No problems.
Fab, thank you. And some of the charts that you were using, Clint, you had already had them in your dashboard anyway, didn't you? You have an extensive dashboarding charts that you use on a day-to-day basis for all the fee earners anyway, so I imagine it was just lifting them onto document format.
Lifting them in document format, yes, yeah. I mean, we hadn't, going back to the first example, which is a visual interpretation of the data, that was something new for us, and that is the ability to play around and see how that was. And I think the biggest, the longest element is you get yourself in a spin about how other people interpret it, what you're writing down. So if you go back to that example we had things in brackets and red or green, and you probably worry too much about how others are going to interpret it, but actually it's fine. And so that's the biggest. It's not even a challenge. It's how you want that data to be interpreted because of the flexibility that you've got within the product.
Yeah, and I know Mark builds a lot of these, Mark Howell, who you mentioned there, but we've got one question about how easy was it to script the reports based on the audience? So how easy was it to amend who saw what?
Very, because you just it's all just user based, so you just tailor it to see whoever's got a license already, the user in the background, and I think Mark will be either shaking his head or not. I don't know, but it's effectively, yes, it goes to that user, goes to that user, goes to that user, but it links with AD, so they go to you send it to the group Winn directors, or you send it to the group vehicle damage team. So yeah, very straightforward.
Yeah, you're right. That's exactly how it
but
works.
I mean,
so if
I haven't answered that as adequately as Mark would want me to, then I'm happy. Well, I'm sure he will provide a more detailed explanation by email to whoever needs it.
Fab, thank you. But no, in essence, you are right. Just one last question, Clint, if you don't mind, before you jump off. We're scoring you out of 10. Were you able to make the trend lines dynamic, or did you have to manually input the value?
Oh, don't pass actually. I don't know. I can't remember now because
Ming or Ken could probably answer when they come on afterwards. So sorry, that was a little bit of a test.
Yeah,
Mark would probably answer, but I think he'd kill both of us if we asked him to do that. So thank you so much, Clint. That was really, really good.
No problem.
Again, everybody really enjoyed it. Thank you.
No
Ken, Ming, I'm just going to share your screen, Ming. So you're up next. So Ming is now going to show us how to use Pi reports and how to get the best out of it, and then talk about the future. So we can see you now, Ming. Hopefully that should allow you to share your screen.
Show my screen. Let's do that. Yeah. So can everyone hear me? Or Holly, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're sorted, and I can see your screen.
Cool. Brilliant. Right. Okay. So we don't have technical problems like other people. So that's brilliant. Yeah. And also, yeah, basically, what there were a few questions like how easy it is to create Pi report, and then who see what and those kind of things. Hopefully, you should be able to get your answers from this session as well. So I'm from the tech team. So yeah, this is gonna go real technical now. Yeah, of course not. It's not gonna go technical because Pi report is supposed to be used by people who doesn't even need to have the knowledge to create charts and so on. So yeah, so you can see my dashboard over here. It says welcome. as Clint said, you already spent your time and effort pulling all the data together, create some charts and so on, and you really don't want to waste more time on that. But you do actually want to get the charts out in a different way. So, for example, in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, you need to hop on a train on Monday, but you basically need your report in hand to sort of like go to a meeting to talk about. Obviously, you can sort of like save such an URL as a bookmark or whatever, and then by hitting that URL, it directly takes you to that particular dashboard page, like what I have over here, or something more interesting. However, it requires access to the network that has the dashboard. Sorry. Hello?
Sorry to interrupt, Ming. Hello. We can see your Teams chat popping up, so I don't know whether we might just want to mute that.
I will actually.
Just as less of a distraction.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ming. Sorry, carry on.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, just shut up other people. That's what we do, right? And anyway, that's just a joke. So yeah. So you obviously there's one way you can access the dashboard, which is by bookmarking this URL and then basically hitting that. It takes me straight to the dashboard, to that particular page, but it requires access to the dashboard's network, so wherever the dashboard is deployed to. And also, it'll ask you to log in as well. So if you need to hop onto a train, you don't have access to those kind of things, if there's a report in hand, send that out as an email. You might have your mobile phone, Wi-Fi hotspot, whatever, get on the train, turn that on, receive an email, and then you get something similar to what you have on a dashboard, but in a PDF format. So that's one of the reasons why PyReport could be quite useful. Basically, it's an email format of whatever you have already spent time creating. So so that's that element. And then also for whoever has seen PyReport, well, who hasn't seen PyReport, this is the section to explain a little bit about how you can easily create those kind of things. For whoever has already seen PyReport, then basically we've got something more to share as well. So one of the problems, like Clint was saying, which is like you might need to ask some people to sort of like guinea pig to see how the report looks like and so on. So now I've got some test buttons and so on to sort of like send the report that is supposed to go to somebody to go to you instead. So by hitting a button, you'll just preview like Clint was saying that you can sort of like tailor to different users for different to show the report in different formats. So you can actually preview the result before things go out to people. So you can do stuff like that. We've got report filters as well. So that's something people ask for. So yeah, without talking too much, without showing anything, I'll just actually just show some stuff instead. So on this dashboard, we've got a button over here. Can I just move this down? Let me see whether, yeah, I can move this down. Brilliant. So we've got a button over here to go to the reporting side. And basically, forget about this one. This is when I don't have time to show this, then I'll just use that. So we've got a section for creating reports. We've got a section to schedule the reports out. And then we've got another section to see what's going out and so on. So for example, if I need to create an HR report, because my repository is all about like human resource data, so I can easily go over here and then that's like an empty page over here, and then I can just say, okay, I want to split the page, have a bit of text on the top, and then I don't know, put a few charts over here. So splitting the layout exactly the same as how you do it in the dashboard. And what you can do over here is just looking for some charts to put into the page. So I would like to put some information about people's sick days. And then I would also like to see the employees, for example. And let's just add some text, employee. Never mind, I'll copy paste some text instead, because people hate to see other people typing. So I've got something prepared to copy. So I'll just stick that in here, and guess what? I'm gonna create a title over here instead. So I'm going to move this box up and have that as a title instead, like this, and some charts down below, and move the text to align left and do the same for that. And yeah, that's the title. Let's make it bigger, and then let's have a bit of space on the top and set it to bold. So now let's say this one is an HR report, and let's just save. So that's saved. I can hit this button to sort of like preview the PDF format, but I'm seeing that as me, not as whoever's going to receive the report. So there you go. There's a report created with a few pages. Basically, this table goes to multiple pages. That's why, although over here we create one, but it actually has multiple pages. So that's one page, and then let's just keep adding. Let's just do some more work. So split that, and let's add more charts. So I've got a chart called I don't know. Yeah, average years in job, and then let's see some employee distribution information, and then satisfaction, because I have some good charts that I have already created. So employee satisfaction, and again, you will, before saving that, let's just put some text. So I'm gonna actually split this and move this chart to the right hand side as well. And let's just add some text like what we did. Again, I'm going to copy some text from somewhere just to save some time. So employee retention, and then some headcount information, and what else? Employee satisfaction, and we just put that as a title, and this one the same. So let's go over here and align that to left. Do that for all of them. And because this is a title, we just set that to a bold, not normal, and then make it bigger. And have a little bit of space on the top as well. So we do that over here, exactly the same as the other one, and then set that bold as well, set this one bold, and we've got another page created. So let me just save this, and let's preview that again. So it takes a little bit of time. It generates a PDF file that is supposed to, there you go, the PDF file is generated. So as you can see, let me just show the whole page instead. So as you can see, this is the first page that we had earlier, and then we've got another page that has a few charts and have a bit of text to explain certain things as well. So because we've now got more than 2 pages, so let's just add page number. So you can go to the report, and then you just add the page number like this, and then let's add a logo as well. So I can hit this button. I know like logo.png would be a logo that I would like to use. So so then that logo appears on every single page. So we can just save that, and then guess what? Let's create another page. Let's just keep going. So this time I'm gonna use whatever this page has. I would like to use the same format. So I'm on this page, I'm gonna duplicate that one, and actually I'm gonna make that the last page. So I will move this page down, and then in here I'm gonna I don't know, get rid of this chart and this one. I'm gonna put an analytical chart here as well. So we will actually say, okay, some predicted sick days information, and let's copy some text as well. Just to make sure you don't see me typing, and put the text in over here. So now let's save, and then let's take a look again. So then it generates a PDF file again, and then let's forget about the first few pages, and the last page is the analytical model that we have with a bit of text as well. So yeah, so I hopefully this sort of like answers the question about how easy it is to create a report. So yeah, it's not too difficult, and then we can create a cover page as well. Like for example, I'll just say, okay, this is an HR human resource report. Human resources, and then create it on, and I can actually use a variable as well. So got some variables in the system. You can just say today, it will just print out the day that the report is generated. So then I prepare by Winn. So yeah, I prepare that, and then okay, so we can change the format a little bit. Let's say I want this to be super big, so let's say it's so big, and then you can say bold. You can type that as well, and then I would like to say, okay, put a bit of space on the top, and then change the font size over here. How about that? And then create it on that date, and create it by Winn. And because I saw Kling having some different colors and those kind of things at the bottom of his report, I'm gonna do something similar as well. So just to add a little bit of flavor, so I'm gonna put a few square boxes with some colors, just for fun. So I'm gonna copy all of the colors, and then go over here, set the background color, and then set this one. And this is a good color, so let's just use that as the text color over here as well. And so we've got a cover page, we've got some stuff over here, and guess what? Let's add a filter as well, which is a new feature that we have. So let's say I only want to show today's the information that we have for today. Sorry, default value over here. So this section is very, very similar to our category filters. So hopefully it should be quite familiar to you if you already know about the category filters feature. So yeah, after saving that, let's just preview that. Again, I'm previewing it as me, as the login user. So then the report is created with a cover page. Let's take a look. So the report's created with a cover page, and then we've got a page about like some sick time information and so on, and then employee retention, satisfaction and distribution and those kind of things. And then we've got some predicted information generated by our PyPredict module. So that hopefully covers everything related to how you can sort of like create a report easily and so on. So yeah, we just generate a few reports. Well, we just put some charts into a report, put some text, and then we can duplicate a page, move things up and down and so on. And then if I want to sort of like schedule this report out, like what Kling was saying, people want to get that every single Monday or whatever, we can just either by clicking this button, which basically takes you straight to this area. So it's sort of like a shortcut. So if I hit that, it goes to here, it puts that HR report as an attachment. So this is very similar to sort of like creating an email. So let's say, I'll just say the title is still going to be like an HR report, and then I'm going to send out every single Monday at 8 o'clock, and then yeah, so there you go. And the report has already been attached. And obviously you can add some stuff to here as some other attachments as well. But before doing that, let me just let's say I want to send that to these two people. Like what Clint was saying earlier, different people, they get to see something different. So earlier, one thing missing was basically he needed to find like some people like as a guinea pig to see what the report looks like potentially. But this time, let's just suspend that. We can actually sort of like test the result. So by hitting this button, the two reports, the reports they are supposed to send to Ken and Ming, they are actually sent to me as the login user instead. So if I go back to my mailbox, because I set that up to send to this particular email address, basically I get two emails. So you can see Adil sends me two emails, and Adil is a machine basically. He's got the information. Well, Adil is our test lead, but he kindly sets up our test information for email and so on. So let's take a look. So we have two reports over here, and as you can see, this one is supposed to send to Ken, and Ken has the information over here, and the departments are all about like sales, marketing, and those kind of things, because Ken is sort of like a sales marketing guy, and basically he gets a report with an analytical model like this, and then Ming is a tech guy, so basically this email is supposed to send to Ming, and then Ming opens that up, and it's got some information about like consultancies, depth, and support, and so on. So if you want to get rid of this space, you can sort of like change the size of that a little bit. That bit is just basically if your table is too long, express that into multiple pages. So then obviously the analytical model is different because the data is different. So why is that then? So we go back to the report.
That's fantastic. So what we'll do is, because we're running short of a bit of time, I think you'll all appreciate there's a lot of functionality in Pi reports, and you've done a brilliant job of showing that really, really quickly there, Ming. Obviously, you can.
Shall we hand that to you?
Yeah, well, I'm just going to ask you a few questions that have come in, if that's all right, Ming.
Cool.
So just following back, the question that you asked earlier, James, how easy it is to script in and send the different content to the user. It was the bit that Ming just showed us a second ago in the schedule, where he was selecting the user. It will run in each one of those users' profiles then. So effectively, it runs the report as that person and sends it out to them. Looked a little bit different because Ming was sending it back to himself just so we could demonstrate it here. But everyone would get that, and it would pick up all the user restrictions and all the things just as you're showing there, Ming. So hopefully that answers that question. Also here, so this is a question about being able to do text templates and Word, PowerPoint type things. So being able to define a sort of predefined format for titles, subtitles, and body text. Is that something that we're planning to do, Ming?
Yeah. So that definitely is something that we are planning to do. Yeah.
And I think that the next question sort of follows into that of like a format painter style. So exactly as we saw, and it was a little bit on the roadmap about that this morning. The idea is this to try and make this even better, even easier, and some of that's going to be achieved through a nice formats option. So another question here: are there any options to encrypt or password protect the schedule outputs, Ming?
The schedule output, at the moment, we don't encrypt that. So potentially, if I understand it correctly, what you're looking for is this particular PDF file being zipped with a password potentially, if I understand it correctly, because I don't know what else you do related to encrypting the result. So if you, let's say the PDF sends out as a zip file, and then you need to provide a password in order to open that, then it's already sort of like protected, so that somebody wouldn't be able to hijack your email and then get your report that might actually have some very important information. Does that?
I think that's exactly it. I mean, yeah, absolutely. So having encrypted, so zipped up attachments would be that. And I think that has been raised as an enhancement request anyway. I'm pretty sure that's something that we've captured previously from within there. So that's all the questions that we've got for now. There was one question just previously, just talking about or asking Clint about the targets on the charts, whether they could be dynamic, and it's probably easier just to answer that here. Targets within charts can be data input, so you can hard code them on charts, or you can actually, in the same way as we do with the square brackets or the squiggly brackets, we can bring data in, and that data can then have different targets for different users, depending on what their expectation would be. But that's absolutely fantastic, Ming. Thank you so much for that demonstration. Hopefully it's given people a real flavour of what people are out there doing with Pi reports at the moment. And it is an area we're learning from our customers faster than we're learning ourselves. So the sorts of things that we've tried to reflect from Clint's reports there, every time we go out into the wild, we're seeing what people are doing with Pi reports and achieving things that we weren't even sure were possible. So we're very much being led by our customers on this, and hence why it's great to get some feedback from you all. But just want to say thank you very much to Ming. Awesome demonstration.